As Nigeria approaches the 2027 general election, Peter Obi faces a significant dilemma regarding his role in a newly formed opposition coalition under the African Democratic Congress, ADC, which includes political heavyweights like Atiku Abubakar and others. Recently, the Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate has come under attack by some sitting governors like Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia of Benue State, and much more recently, Monday Okpebolo of Edo State, in different statements at various times, threatening Obi not to visit their states without permission. This is coming at a time the political landscape is getting charged with coalition activities heating up. Will Obi scale this hurdle, or will it impact negatively on his presidential ambition? This is the Eastern Eye. I am Alex Obodo. Eastern Eye, a program that X-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Tonight, we'll be taking a look at some of the obstacles before Peter Obi, the man who single-handedly has redefined how politics is done in the country. There are talks that maybe he reminds the other politicians who are attacking him what they need to be like. But beyond that, why are sitting governors attacking Peter Obi, especially those in the opposition or the ruling APC? Peter Obi came third in the 2023 elections. Why is every step taken by the former Anambra State Governor a thing of scrutiny? If he visits a state, they say it's for politics. But dating back to many years before he became governor, Peter Obi has been doing philanthropic works. Well, at the end of the day, how is Obi going to cope with the new coalition of the ADC? Atiku Abubakar has resigned from the PDP. Will Obi resign from the Labour Party? And with all the things happening within the Labour Party, the faction, the Nadi Usman faction, and the Julius Abure faction, and with the picture of Mwike and Abure circulating the other day, what becomes of Labour Party? Will Peter Obi still find Labour Party a worthy platform to actually contest for president in 2027? This and more we'll be discussing with also Barrister Nadumo Fokansi in a few minutes. Join us after the break. Peter Gregory Obi has reaffirmed his ambition to contest the 2027 presidential elections, emphasizing his qualifications and dismissing speculations of accepting vice presidential role. He joined forces with Atiku Abubakar under the African Democratic Congress ADC, is aiming to unite opposition forces against President Tinubu's APC. This coalition formed to give a formidable front from the respective parties. The Labour Party and the PDP seeks to capitalize on their combined voter bases to avoid splitting the opposition vote as in 2023. The ADC move is seen as a strategic attempt to challenge Nigeria's two-party dominance and prevent a one-party state. However, there are tensions within this coalition, particularly among the obedient supporters who reject him playing second fiddle to Atiku Abubakar. Some insist he should lead the ticket, citing his organic following and popularity among youths. Different opinions are saying that Obi's best path may involve selecting a strong northern running mate to balance regional interests through names like Nasir El-Rufai that are controversial among his base. Obi, they say, remains vocal on national issues, criticizing President Tinubu's administration for economic mismanagement, fraud, and failure to address poverty. He has supported protests like End Bad Governance Nigeria and called for tangible solutions over political rhetorics. His public image as a frugal, principled leader continues to fuel his appeal. Though critics are arguing that his governance record in Anambra lacks standout achievements to justify his national ambitions, but some insist that he's the kind of man that can tighten up the loose ends within Nigeria's political and economic circles. When we come back, we will have analyses with my guest tonight on the Eastern Eye. Welcome back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV, a program that X-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Tonight, I'm joined by also barrister Nadume Ofokansi. He's a constitutional lawyer and, of course, a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much, Ochogo Gulogo, for joining us.
I'm also a farmer.
Yeah. You know, you are a man of many parts.
You tend to almost to forget that one.
If we have to add it, there will be no gap where to put them under the lower third. But you like the farmer part.
I know what I will do to make you remember it. Very soon I start getting some farm produce free of charge. So if I give you 2 packs now, you understand and you remember it.
Barrister Nadume is trying to give me farm produce before we even start the program. But that will not change the questions I want to ask.
Go ahead.
So, Peter Obi has been in the news. Is there any other presidential candidate that grabs the headline the way Peter Obi does? This is after, according to INEC records, he lost the 2023 elections. He came third. But he's the one that is talked about most within the Nigeria's political space.
Yes, let me start from your last, analysis of that. By INEC result, he came third. Correct. That's what INEC, that's exactly the politician should be. By INEC result, he came third. And you are not the only journalist who asked that question. I think he was confronted in London with that question. And he was asked, from Nigerian INEC record, you are the third position. And somebody came second. That is Atiku Abubakar. But from all intents and purposes, the attack on you is more severe. But the person who they say came second, nobody talks about him. But people talk about you. In fact, the ruling party wakes up with you, takes their lunch with you, takes their dinner with you, and goes to bed with you. So what is the problem? That's what the question asked him. I think it was London. He now gave a simple answer. If you steal from somebody, or if you are a thief and you steal from somebody, certainly you know the person you stole from. You don't need to start haranguing everybody you stay around because you didn't steal from everybody. You know the person you stole from. And that answered the question very perfectly well. You see, if you look at the way things are going with Peter Obi, from the very moment after the Supreme Court gave his verdict, he's a man of that is governed by rule of law. So he sort of forgot the past because he still believes that every nation must have its own judiciary, whether rightly or wrongly, whether they do the right dispensation of justice or not. There must be a court somewhere. So he abided because Supreme Court is the last beacon of justice we have to approach for any disagreement in Nigeria. Now, with his own personal money too, he now began some philanthropic gestures all over Nigeria. I think he started from Northeast, going to villages that had never had pipe-borne water for decades. After that, he moved to Northwest. Occasionally, he come down to South. Well, I think even his native Anambra, I think the only thing he has done since after that election was the support he gave to the agro-vigilante. I thought he donated some vehicles. Then some schools anyway, because he is very passionate about schools. So he went to the other side of the divide, that's the West, keep on attending to schools and their needs. And any day you wake up and the presidential spokesman did not say what about Peter Obi in the Twitter space, then that day is not a normal day. So that's how I now see it. Brian Onagon must have put something to tweet about Peter. If Peter didn't wake up with the right hand and complain somewhat that he forgot his nightgown while he was sleeping, it will make headline news. Now, Just recently, you can see what happened with the burial of our former president, Muhammadu Buhari. I think David Mark, the Senate president, the former Senate wasn't there. I think the new Senate president, what is his name? Akpabio, wasn't also there. And very many other top political, big wigs in Nigeria, they were not there. But even before people know that Peter Obi could not come to Daura because of the cluster in the airport in Katsina. Bayon, not Bayon, I think it is
Reno
Omoke. I think it is Twitter space. I said, is it the way Peter Obi want to win the election? He didn't attend Buhari's burial. Peter Obi actually was in the airport trying to fly to Katsina, but they said, even if we can fly to Katsina, there will be no place to land. And if we land you in any, maybe we land you in Niger, and then you take my road and come to Daura. So it might not be. He might have said, okay, what about tomorrow? He said, tomorrow is free for you. Said, tomorrow you flew to the place, pay this condolence. In Igbo land, the condolence stretches for weeks.
Sure, absolutely.
So that one now doused mockery. Because if he has not attended on the second day, the next person who could have tweeted could have been Bayon Anuga. Now, on Saturday, 19th of July, there was frenzy. It was in all the states of the Federation from Thursday, people preparing for the man's birthday, which he did not even tell anybody. I think he was in Rome. I think he went to Rome for the birthday celebration. When he went there to commiserate with his God. So people were preparing in all states. And like I keep on telling you here, that Edo State is the unofficial headquarters of the obedient movement. So the hype was so high in Edo. All the internet spaces were goggled. What these people were preparing. Now, the governor took up the microphone. And then Peter should not come to Edo without clearing for him. You see, sometimes there are things people say that are laughable. And you wonder why they say such things. The governor of, I think, Kaduna State, or I think Kaduna, I think that one imposed curfew. Because of, but still, in spite of all these bottlenecks, people still celebrated his birthday. In Enugu here, it was, but we had 4 locations. We had one we organized at, what they call it, Eid Masa Hotel, where we had a colloquium where Chiwiko and the rest came and gave talks on the pure ideology. We had one in the Obara Square where some willing donors donated a very giant cake, and it was really free of charge for people cut in the open space. There was also this banner Enugu girl that was done in various secondary schools, to sensitize the younger ones about their physical growth and nature. So, there was also a march in Nsukka and another one in Nsude. So it was in 4 locations in Enugu. In Abia, it was almost every part of Nigeria, including the north. So the P2P, every time he is in the news, and I regard that thing as indirect campaign for Peter, because people are campaigning for Peter indirectly. That's how I say it. Because that of Okpebolo, made after that, a lot of obedience began to attack the man. I say even that attack, well, the attack is still adding to the advert, because our people say when you talk bad about someone who is better and far bigger than you, you are admiring the person. There's this Igbo adage, no government, the joy is that you are in front. When you put on is at the back. So Obi is in front. So Obi is in front, they are at the back, they put it at the back. So I see those, being in the news as what its order should be. Because, like he said in London that time, whoever steals from anybody knows who he stole from. And the truth of the matter, Alex, is that if I steal your eyeglasses now, maybe they search, maybe you say, because of the respect I have for focus, you won't search me. I will take the eyeglass and keep it somewhere. Each time I see you, my heart will skip a bit, because I know I have something I stole from you. There is this adage I will tell you. In my village, there's one small boy who is very mischievous. One day, he went and defecated in a place where other children go to play in the night, moonlight play. The old man, they defecated in his house. They came in the man and said, who did this? The man said, no problem. I will know who did it. Go and call, don't tell anybody what I'm calling them for. All the small boys in this hour, I will go and invite all of them. As I come, let them be passing and going to this Nkolo. So the innocent ones we are passing. Because nobody knows what the man was looking. Immediately the man, the young man who did that came, he looked at it, he said, no, become. So that was how the man identified who did it. So the issue that these people are all afraid because Obi is the face of the new Nigeria. And the old Nigeria are lesser in number because it's just like the war between people in power and people's power. People in power, and they have many. They are not up to 1 million. Even if they're up to 1 million, they're not up to 2 million. Nigeria are about 200 something million people. And out of these 200 something million people, 80% of them are virtually youths that go to vote. And that 80%, out of the 80%, about 75% of the 80% are obedience. So that is the fear. And they know that with Obi at the helm of affairs, also got that because it is normal. It happened during Buhari's second term coming as the president. When Buhari was sworn in, a lot of contractors, including those who were working in Ugoyama, they went back to site because they remembered Buhari of 1983. They thought it is still the same Buhari. So everybody was rushing to site, all the contractors, thinking that the Buhari then was still the Buhari now. At the end of the day, when Buhari now took over 6 months to appoint his ministers, he said, just say this one that the former Buhari will not before. The man was heading to 9 months, no ministers. All the contractors relaxed. Those who took flight overseas, they all came back. And now still it's still business as usual. And the looting continued. To the extent that even them themselves, Alin Dume, I'm no more, now I'm talking from a Fokansi's point of view. I'm talking from a city senator's point of view, Alin Dume, who said 80% of them, in fact, he said all of them in government are kleptomaniacs. So who is a kleptomaniac? He's a thief. If an armed robber wants money from you, he will point a gun at you and say, give me your money, because he needs money. But the kleptomaniac will come here, look around. If he didn't say what to steal, he might even steal some couple of biscuits that somebody has taken, that if you go to the dust can, he will put it in his pocket. Just let him touch steal something. So all of them in government, they are all afraid that will be at the helm of affairs. A lot of them are going to be given the chase. And definitely, he doesn't want to say, like he said, he's not interested in proving anybody. But he's going to plug that loophole from where those people loot that treasure. That's what the man is going to do. And when you plug it, you see, the man who can eat trousers. So when the wind blow, you're going to say, please, they wear trousers. So that is why the man is consistently in the news.
So let's talk about the coalition and the chance Obi stands to actually further his ambition to be president of Nigeria.
Yes.
Atiku Abubakar has resigned from the PDP. As we speak, the Labour Party is divided. You have the Abure faction, and the Nanadi Usman faction.
Yes.
And as we also speak, Dati Baba Ahmed has declared to run for president in the Labour Party. And Peter Obi, from what we still know, is still in the Labour Party. He hasn't resigned. What does this mean? I mean, maybe this is the first time we're seeing that after people have gone through an election as presidential candidate and running mate, then the running mate decides to run, this time within the same party. And this time he's aligning with a particular faction of the party. So help us put it in perspective. What is going on with the Labour Party, and what chance or chances do you think Obi is looking at in emerging as the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2027?
Well, you see, it's not the first time a vice presidential candidate is contesting against his principal. Peter Obi also contested against Atiku. After the 2015 election, 2023, Peter Obi contested because Atiku was also running under PDP. It was because when the land began to dollarize the primary, Peter Obi said he's pulling out because it's better for him to do the right thing and fail than to do the wrong thing and win. So, but keep that aside. To answer your question very directly, this is all political jiggery-pokery. So they're all moving towards what? A better Nigeria. So what I am saying is that with the Dati, the government attended Abure's meeting. That's what you want to tell me. Fine. why Peter Obi and co are still also palling with Nemadi Usman. Remember, Nemadi Usman was acting chairman of the party. So she is not a substantive chairman because there have been no Congress. The only underlying factor is that all these things, all this political geo-walking is taking place at least 2 years ahead of the general election. So there's still enough time for political realignment. And once there is an agreement among Labour Party faithfuls that there's going to be a Congress, once the Congress takes place, invariably, there's no way, what do you call him, Abure, if Peter is going to run under Labour Party, there's no way Abure will still be the chairman coming from the south, and Peter will be the president coming from the south. That one is taken. Now, as to the coalition was formed with a very beautiful aim to unseat Tinubu and bring us back to at least a little sanity in politics. But we have now found out that Atiku actually pulled those things together, to anchor his political ambition to become president of Nigeria. Why do I say that? He made a haste to resign from PDP. Now, he is now full-time in ADC. He forgot that when they were pulling the coalition together, they said that Southern candidates should emerge. Because they did El-Rufai this talk about it. And that was why David Mark was brought in as acting chairman, because he's from the north. And there's no way the acting chairman can come from the north, and the president can also come from the north. That is not political balancing. But then, Atiku has been a spoiler all the while. Let me now put it that way. Because why I say he's been a spoiler? In 2023, he spoiled the chances of PDP because all of them were called. In fact, I was among the people who went to Wadaza Plaza when we were doing 1 million man march for Bill almost all over the nation. We told the PDP chairman, it's on record. Virtually on about that day, you wouldn't even see yourself on the sea of heads that came. But our spokespeople, I wasn't the spokesman, but I was there. So they now said, we want you people to go back to Asorok and remove APC. Please, give Obi the presidential ticket, unopposed. We will all support PDP to go back to Asorok. The party chairman told us, well, we have had us young men. What happens is that it's not for him to decide alone. I think it was he or child. I think that was the chairman then. He said it's not for him to decide alone, that he will still community, talk with the party caucus, talk with stakeholders, and talk with some NEC or so, after which they will not take a decision. The next thing we had was that they appointed a committee to decide on the zoning of presidential tickets, in which I think it was Ifeanyi, our own governor here, that they made the chairman. Well, they see why he goes by as a governor. They didn't know his capacity. So that was why they had a rough shot on him, because Atiku was authorizing everything. They then came and said, it is open. That was the first time Wike and Atiku started falling out. Now, no problem. Contest. Let everyone contest. Why some were sharing naira, some were sharing dollars. And Peter Obi discussed about all those and said, instead of him doing this is the same thing he coming to fight, that he's no more interested. He resigned from PDP. He really resigned from the PDP. All his followers, especially the obedient movement, in fact, that time it was when that nicknamed some of us obedience. Because it was never a name we picked to abuse. It was given us just like they gave those followers of Christ, Christians in Antioch. So they now started calling us obedience. So as time was moving on, we were contemplating where would Peter Obi go. Eventually, we saw that Labour Party has a wider spread because it is the People's Party. At least in every local government, there is a Labour Party. So within the short frame of time we have, the only party that can shoulder that kind of election, national election for us, is the Labour Party. So he now paid it, and the party to me stepped down for him gracefully. We thanked him for that. Now, the election went the way it went. At the end of the day, they become a struggle because it was when he entered Labour Party that light came onto Labour Party, whether Labour Party likes it or not. Just like his presence in the coalition now is giving coalition light. If he pulls out of the coalition tomorrow, the coalition will dim It's as simple as that. Let them just know it. And like Rotimi Amaechi said, which I support, this movement to rescue Nigeria is even beyond Peter Obi. Peter Obi cannot even come out now and say, I will no more contest. He'll be skinned alive.
But things seem to be narrowing. What if you come to a point where he wouldn't have a platform to contest? Because it looks like every direction he heads, there are obstacles everywhere, even within the Labour Party. You can't say for sure because they've mentioned that no more, that he doesn't have the right of refusal, first right of refusal anymore. That they're going to have a primary for their presidential election. That's Labour Party. You are of the Labour Party. I'm sure you know these things. So, and the way it's happening in the ADC, it doesn't look like Peter Obi will just walk in and have the ticket. It's going to be. Where do you think Peter Obi will go if he decides to leave the Labour Party?
See, all we are saying, nobody's even saying let every platform Peter Obi goes be a walkover for him. No. Peter Obi would not even like such a walkover. What you are clamoring, he let us start setting the example of the new Nigeria of our dream. Wherever he goes, let it be a fair contest. That's all we are saying. Let it be a fair contest, not a contest imbued by dollars and naira. That is the one we are saying no. And it's a know that wherever Atiku is, he's going to be dollarized. It's not like telling Wike to go and contest any primary election. Just expect that people are going to be giving money. So that's all we are saying. And if it is Abure's faction or Nemadusman's faction or two of them joining together tomorrow and saying, okay, it is now open, and that now want to contest, Peter wants to contest, so be it. If Peter contests the election under free and fair, if it is with him and that, definitely nobody will give anybody a dime. But if that wins the primary and Nigerians prefer that, so be it too. So, but what we are saying is that Peter Obi doesn't even need to have a walkover. Let it be a fair contest. And it was because of the clamor for fair contest that made him resign from PDP in 2022, if you can remember. Because he said what they are now doing is the very thing he's coming to fight. So if Labour Party wants to dollarize their own too, we now look at it, and if it is dollarization, and you can recall that, like you said, your first intro question to me was, why is the man consistently on the news? You can recall that INEC said they are now confused because the coalition tried to register about 5 different names for 5 new political parties. Once the names are submitted, I think it is INEC that leaks it into the government in power. They will gang up some group of people. They will bring similar name. If one say, Ofakazi People's Party, OPP, they will now gang up some people. So now want to register Ofokaja Parliamentary Party, OPP. If you see then Alex said, no, we can't register people with the same acronym. And it's going to give us problem in terms of preparing their voters' card. So that thing, they tried this one, they blocked it, they tried this one. At the end of the day, they said, okay, no problem, let's look for an existing platform. That was why the choice of ADC came up. So when the ADC choice now came up, the master stroke was that all this is that it might even be a political strategy. Who knows? Because if you throw all your cards open to APC, anything APC cannot do does not exist. If APC can rent bishops to support its Muslim ticket, there's nothing you tell me they can do that I will not believe. So they would try to do everything to block whatever chances wherever Obi wants to go. But at the end of the day, Obi will still triumph. He's not a fool.
So just before we go, let's just take 2 steps back to what had happened in Anambra. I think it was the past week, the interchange between when Obi was talking about Sam Miller and they being one of the biggest indigenous tax companies, providing internally generated revenue for Anambra State. But in an attempt to discredit that, the governor also, Governor Chukwuma Soludo, went into another cycle with Obi. It looks like each time he tries to smear Obi, the thing sort of doesn't quite go the way he wants it. That Sam Miller episode, was it necessary, really? Was it necessary for the governor to provide a rebuttal for a company that clearly was actually providing internally generated revenue for Anambra State? Did he need to get someone to give a statement proving that the company is not number one. But Obi was clear, said indigenous. The other companies are not indigenous to Anambra State.
You see, I think Soludo is being consumed by morbid jealousy. That's how I describe him. You see, when Soludo came into power, Obi had no qualms with his coming into power. You know that. He wrote a first letter, said it's part one. Trying to run Obi down. Leaving the person who handed over to him. Remember, Obi now handed over to Soludo. Now, when Obi was cornered at one of your national televisions like this one we are now, he simply told them, he has played his own part and he has left the scene. This one is a professor. I am a trader. Let him professor and do better. Why coming to talk about me when he didn't even take over from me? And that's, Obi has a matured way of, replying to critics. Now, I also see Soludo as somebody who is misguided. And I see him as somebody who is being blinded by power. Why do I say all this? This is campaign period for you. You didn't take cue from your letter to your kinsmen, which you wrote in part one, the kind of backlash he had on you. You didn't remember it again because maybe it happened 4 years ago. You now went and trumped on Sabila Brewery, which is the highest indigenous company that's giving revenue to Anambra, just like Ama Brewery is giving to Enugu State here. So the Peter Mbani come and tell Chimaroke that the Ama Breweries that he attracted to Enugu is not giving Enugu anything. We know. In law, we say res ipsa loquitur. The thing speaks for itself. The brewery, brewery, the people the brewery give work. You're not even quantified by the number of people who attend work in that very brewery. What about people who market the goods? What about people who have restaurants?
Indirect jobs.
So a lot of indirect jobs. People who prepare the bottles, they come in and process the bottles. They come in and process the labor. They who process the cork. Many of them may not be inside the Sabina brewery. So this, if you check the number of people that brewery has given job in Anambra State, if Peter says 5,000, then he's underestimating it. And then you talk about the income Anambra is getting from that. So I think Soludo is misguided. He misfires a lot. But he's only underlining good luck. I keep on saying it. There's no serious governorship candidate in Anambra in other political parties. If Valentine Osbo has had enough patience to wait and know which direction Peter Obi is heading, and maybe contest on the Labour Party, and maybe Peter Obi come for his campaign in Anambra State, it would have been a walkover for him between him and Soludo. But he had no patience. He now jumped into APC. And APC also denied him the ticket. So you find out that it's just like what Umeha did in Udiazag Federal Constituency. I told him, why not relax? Let's see where Peter Obi, because many of you were carried by the Obi wave. Wait a while. The man is not a fool. He knows many of you got into that National Assembly through him. Whatever they deny you there, they can't deny you your constituency project, which you have brought. They can't deny you your salary. Even if they deny your constituency, forget it. Collect your salary and be there. Make contribution. Let us see what you are doing. Leave jumping to another party for the meantime. He now gave me an example of what happened in Plateau. That people contested the election. What about if he wants a second tenure and somebody, it may be Nema the Usman faction nominated him, lo and behold, if they go to court, they say it's a bread that is authentic, and then they disqualify them. I said, well, you are matured enough, you're a lawyer, you are matured enough, you're difficult to take your choice. The next thing I had was I had joined the APC. Now that this coalition has not come up, many of them want to come back. But how do you think they can come back? They can't.
That would be an interesting conversation. We're going to talk about that.
Yes.
How the defectors are faring in their new defection camp. Thank you so much. Also, Nadume of Wakansi, constitutional lawyer and public affairs analyst and farmer. I've added that now.
Yes, thank you, Alex, for having me this evening.
That's the Eastern Eye for tonight. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, for another episode of the program. My name is Alex. So what up next is Nka with Chinalo Romongo Eze.